This phrase came to me today. Pride's favorite shirt is humility. I was thinking about Christianity. I spent 10 years of my life heavily involved in Christian thinking and Christian living, worship, prayer, Bible reading, fellowship, thinking and having conversations about theology. Struggling within actually within my own mind as a Christian, not just having a head knowledge religion, but trying to apply it to me as an individual. Examining my own self, at least what I thought was myself. Attempting to examine this person. Am I saved? Am I truly born again? I spent like 10 years going through different types of Christian circles. Calvinism, Presbyterianism, cessationism, Baptistism. I don't want to say baptism. Charismatic, continuationist type thinking. So I've been on the inside of this kind of stuff. At least to a certain extent. I haven't experienced everything. I realize that. But I experienced a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about growing as a Christian or struggling as a Christian. And there was this mentality of I gotta beat myself down and I gotta feel bad about the things that I do. Because the things that I do are not perfect. They're tinted with sin. They're tinted with my selfishness, with my fleshly intention. So everything I do is bad. That colored my life for years. So, although I like the topic of spirituality, I also can say that, depending on the person, there's times I'd rather have a person be someone who is just a naturalistic atheist. Just anti-theist, anti-religion. I can see some truth to that. There's something about that resonates with me. And there's something that resonates with me. There's something about certain things about Christianity that resonate within me. My viewpoint has expanded outside of just the Christian scholars, there's a drama that is played out in life. For example, not just to say that this only happens in Christianity, but this was a large part of my experience in my life. So, I'm talking about it. There's this, I am a Christian. I was dead in my sins. There's this story, this idea that you have about yourself that's developing through time. And you identify with it. And you identify with two contradictory natures. And somehow you're both. Somehow I'm a sinner. I'm so horrible. And yet at the same time you're born again. You're a new creation. So it's like this contradictory thing. You're trying to be this horrible person, and it's like, so of course there's got to be this humility about you. But it's this weird religious humility. You know? Talk about how terrible you are. Take another opportunity, take that opportunity again to point out how, you know, you're just so bad and it's all by God's grace. It's like you always gotta point this out, you know. You gotta tell us this story about how God saved you. It's like it's all about God, and yet it's really, in experience, it's really all about you talking about God. It's about you and your story as this humble Christian. Not that you would say you're humble, but there's this, it's very person-centered. It's very, it's very focused on you as the Christian, your name and your story and your testimony. It's just, it's a play, you know? It's just another flavor of an ego trip. You know, we all take ego trips in life. We have these different roles that we play. And it's fun. But when you identify as it, that this is inherently what you are, then you fall into suffering. You know, you do, because then you have this idea about yourself as a person. You have this story about your past, and you have this future. If you're going to be so humble as a Christian, then please tell us who you are. Tell us who you are. Can you even make sense of yourself being a person? Really, in terms of like it actually being something that has an identity throughout the change of our experience? Who are you? Where are you? Show me. Locate this person. You know? What is a person? What is a person beyond us just using that word and us assuming that there is this thing called a person with a name? Practically speaking, we speak that way. I grant that. I'm challenging this idea, like, dude, it's just taken for granted. You're like, you're this person and you've acquired this guilt and oh, you're so terrible. It's like, who are you talking about here? There's this body that is made up of what I eat. you know? It might as well just be a part of nature. It's like I might as well be a walking tree that talks. Physically speaking, you know, I'm just not rooted in the ground. I can walk around, I talk, I say things, you know, but whoop-de-doo, I mean, but the human race is all over the place. It's like, what is the standard? What is the standard, you know? You got all these different fucking religions, all these different ways of looking at things. So, this whole, oh, I'm this spiritual person, like, dude, whatever, man. Whatever. That could mean, you know, a trillion things. And it's a constantly changing thing. So what are we really going to make sense of here today? You can't make sense out of reality. Well, okay. Who says we have to? Who says we have to in some real specific way that, you know, you're laying out for us? You know, a lot of times with your suit and tie, you know, got your confession of faith under your arm. Hey, guys. I make fun of it in its aspect of its Phariseeism. It doesn't want to admit it. It's closet Phariseeism. Purity. Oh, yes. We're standing against sin. Yeah, right, dude. You become so unnatural and so uptight, so robotic, and so, quote, humble. You know, this spiritual, oh, humble, oh, I'm just this poor sinner. You know, in a sense, we're all putting on a play. It's just a matter of, you know, how aware are we of our delivery? And what is our intention? How aesthetic are we going to put it into words? You know, this is really fucking weird. Sitting here and saying these things into this fucking camera. Just wirelessly. Just. And you watch it on a screen in your room, you know. Possibly thousands of miles away. Well, let's make sense out of that one, you know. Do I have to wait until I make sense out of that in order to have self-knowledge? Do I have to make sense out of all this stuff outside and skip over me within? I mean, I can't directly search for myself on my own? Not that I don't have any help. But ultimately, if I can't see what I am for my own self, then what the hell am I going to rely on here? Fucking book. Which one? And why a book? Why some propositional thing? You know, some line of sentences? So, there's my sermon today for you. And hope you got something out of that. Like Kent Hovind said, you know, eat the meat and spit out the bones. So, there you go. Peace.